So, as Carlos said, my name is Maryellen Russo. What we're presenting today is a project that Blanton & Associates is working with TxDOT on. It's currently an ongoing project. So if you have any feedback for us, we can implement it in this program and in this initiative. So please keep that in mind as you're watching the presentation. This is a two-part presentation. I'll be introducing the initiative that TxDOT is currently taking, and Jamie will go over some of the materials that have been produced to date and that we're going to be presenting to some of the parties who I'll go through in just a minute. Do we have any owners of off-system bridges in the room? Good, okay. And most of the folks in the room know what off-system bridges are. They're bridges, owned by cities and counties. Mainly in terms of historic trust bridges, most of these bridges are owned by counties. So they are by and large, when I'm referencing bridge owners, that's usually who we're keeping in mind, but of course we know that there are cities that have these bridges as well. So as we go through, what this presentation, particularly the first part of the presentation, is going to cover is an overview of this initiative for locally owned bridges. And then we're going to go over a case study, which actually is the impetus for this project. And it's CR 402 at the Navasota River in Limestone County. And throughout this presentation, we'll be talking about the challenges that's presented by trying to create this initiative. So why is TxDOT doing this? Well, because they love historic trust bridges, right? No. And actually, this is real graffiti from a bridge, I promise I didn't do it, in Wilburger County in the Wichita Falls district on a bridge we worked on earlier this year. TxDOT's doing this for a couple of different reasons. One of the reasons is counties have said, we're not really sure what to do with these bridges after they've been rehabilitated. How do we elongate the lives of these bridges? You give us a lovely rehabilitated bridge, and we don't know what to do with it in terms of maintenance and care. And also, it's a nationally recognized best practice. States all over the country are doing this. TxDOT is doing it with its own historic trust bridges. So with the experience in TxDOT, they thought, well, let's go ahead and see what we can bring to the table to local bridge owners who may not have the experience with an army of bridge engineers and someone like Jamie or her colleagues in the bridge division who can give a lot of insight on what to do for historic trust bridges. So here's an example. This is the Piano Bridge in Fayette County. It was built in 1885 and it was rehabbed in 2012. So this bridge goes back to Fayette County, and they don't have a handbook or a manual, if you will, of how to take care of this now. Several $100,000s were spent on this rehabilitation. So in order to help elongate the life of this bridge, we're hoping to be able to provide long-term management tools that they can use and promote proactive planning. And this is completely voluntary. Bridge owners can decide to use it or not. This is something that will be a tool kit, if you will, that they can pick up and use or let sit on the shelf. It's completely up to them. So some of the challenges initially that we realized is we're dealing with varying levels of experience of maintenance crews. They are by and large the folks who are taking care of these bridges. So you'll see here, this is an example of a bridge that's no longer standing in Young County, and someone has put a pin in this bridge that's too small. And it's a typical thing that we see quite a lot on truss bridges, and you might have some maintenance crews who know exactly what to do, and some that don't know at all what to do with wrought iron or steel truss bridges and how to take care of them. So another issue is varied interest of the bridge owners. You may have one administration of county commissioners who's very interested in keeping a historic bridge in good working condition, elongating its life after it's been rehabilitated. And then you may have the next administration who's not interested at all. So that's another thing we considered. And the third issue is creating a usable document. we were told that we had to use a document that didn't have a lot of technical terms. So if you've ever seen a historic bridge management plan, they're about this thick, and they're full of technical terms. It's a lot of engineering jargon, and we talked about how can we hand this to counties and say, here you go, use it, and they don't have an engineer on staff. So that was another thing that we knew we had to keep in mind. So what started all of this was the CR 402 project at the Navasota River. And this bridge is in need of rehabilitation. I'll go over a couple of things about it in just a minute. It's in Limestone County, and a couple of reasons that, some things just to note about it is that it's in Limestone County, which has an engineer, which is rare for a rural county. They also have about 7, 8 historic truss bridges. So this is a pretty good test case for this kind of initiative. The engineer in Limestone County is very interested in what we're doing. He's very engaging and active in this project. And the big thing as well is that this county wants to rehabilitate the bridge. The public is behind the project as well. And so I think a very big reason is that Fort Parker State Park is located directly adjacent to the bridge. And also, if you can see, there's a state highway located just southeast of the bridge. So the bypass for this bridge is really short. It's less than half a mile. So just to give you some understanding of where it is, you can just see just north of the bridge is a walking trail, and just south of the bridge is a parking lot with a walking trail. So it does have potential for one day coming out of vehicular service if the county desires. So we're keeping that in mind too with the historic bridge management plans that we're doing. A little bit of information about the bridge is that it is a Warren pony with verticals built 1920. It's one of the only surviving Warren pony trusses that was built with a Texas Highway Department standard plan. This bridge has a concrete deck built originally with the bridge, a little bit different for pony truss bridges. So it also presents a couple of unique things. It's got a pretty stout concrete substructure, as you can see the pier on the water there. And something that I didn't point out on the last slide is that there's a dam about 725 feet upstream of this bridge. So its substructure, its channel, the banks, great condition. It is a good candidate for long-term preservation. And something else that's very weird when we got out and looked at this bridge is that there are electrical outlets on the bridge itself. This bridge on the truss has an electrical outlet, and then on the south approach has an electrical outlet, and we're told that the locals will close the bridge and have concerts and other events on the bridge. They also put Christmas lights on the bridge as well. So it is definitely a well-loved bridge and a good project to start with for us. Some things just to note about the condition. We have a lot of section loss on the bridge, and according to the structural analysis performed on the bridge, there's around an 80% section loss on some members. We're looking at 20 to 50% section loss on the gusset plates. The bridge has a lot of pack rust, lots of rusting on the riveted connections, and this is a field bolted and shop riveted bridge. So it was assembled in a shop with rivets and then field bolted in parts at the site. So the rivets are, of course, some of the most important structural elements of the bridge. So we also have some issues with the approach spans. There are 9 approach spans on this bridge, and they're not in the greatest shape. You can see some pretty severe spalling here in this picture, and then we have a lot of damage on the railing on those approach spans as well. This is actually fairly typical of what the approach spans look like on this bridge. It's only one lane, so people keep hitting the railing on the approach spans. Surprisingly, the truss is in great shape. It has very little impact damage. So looks like the approach spans are taking most of the brunt. So when we've been working on this, we had some initial meetings. My client is the Environmental Affairs Division, the Historical Studies branch. We've been working very closely with the Bridge Division and in creating this management plan and some of the information that's coming out of it. And of course, we've been working with the Waco District. Their staff has been great. The bridge engineer in the Waco District went out to the bridge with us, in addition to us going out with the Bridge Division, our staff, Environmental Affairs staff. And then what we did was we created a preliminary report. And when we did this, we realized that we had to shorten it. It was way too long. And we had to make it more reader-friendly. We didn't think that we could hand a book to a maintenance crew and said, "Here you go. Here's your guide." So we had to come back to the fact that we couldn't use technical terms. Again, extremely difficult to try to give some kind of guidance on how to take care of a bridge without using technical terms. So what we decided to do was, actually what we probably needed more than anything was some toolkits in the appendices. And those were going to be standalone reference guides that they could use. They could detach them from the document and take them out in the field with them. We've created a visual glossary so they know what a gusset plate is, or so they know what a turnbuckle is. Things that they may already know, but some people may not. So we put some of that information in there, and we thought if we have these appendices, this could have broader application beyond the CR 402 bridge. Any bridge owner can actually take this information and apply it to their bridge because we made it universal enough that we could do that. For instance, on the CR 402 bridge, it's got reinforced concrete substructure elements. Well, we decided that maybe in some of this information we'll put information about what to do when you have masonry abutments or masonry piers. That's quite common. So, or a timber deck. This bridge, CR 402, doesn't have a timber deck, but it's going to be in these appendices so that bridge owners who do have those elements know what to do. So we're going to meet with Limestone County again and TxDOT and present these toolkits to them. And actually, Jamie's going to go over those with you in just a few minutes. And again, we're going to get their feedback and revise those toolkits based on those meetings. In addition, the Historic Bridge Foundation, which is a national historic bridge advocacy group, has asked to be involved in this project, along with, of course, the Texas Historical Commission. These groups have already seen these toolkits in their current form. Actually, the Limestone County engineer has also seen this toolkit, I think, in a previous form. They're super excited about it. They said, this is exactly what we needed. This is really going to help bridge owners to pick this up and use it to help maintain their bridges if they want to. So Jamie is going to take over at this point and talk about what the toolkits have in them.